Let me tell you a ghost story about a place called Money Cemetery. Now, Money Cemetery, when I was growing up, had some prestige to it. Most kids had heard a few things about it. Some of the teachers around Halloween would say things about it and stuff and bring up some of the tales of it, and you'd hear it by that. A lot of the other kids heard the stories from the kids that have those teachers in the classes and so on. And it's a folklore that was passed around the town that I lived in for quite some time. And it seemed to go back quite a bit whenever you looked into it. The ancient story, or the old fable thing, was back in 1951, 52, I believe it was, some kids in the college town that is extremely close to there were hazing or inducting some of the kids into their fraternity. And so they would do cruel things to them and stuff the hazing night, and make them do all kinds of crazy shit. And right around the back of a truck, they would spray them down with water and mustard and all kinds of crazy stuff. They'd blindfold them and make them drink weird things and stuff like that. And what they ended up doing was tying these guys up to the biggest oak tree that was out here at Money Cemetery. And they made them drink supposedly a concoction that was mustard and milk mixed together with Caro syrup into it, but they cracked eggs and things before they did it, and so made them think that it had raw eggs and all kinds of nasty things in it, and the way they were talking supposedly, and then made the guys drink it or whatever. And of course they gagged and freaked out and ran all down their shirts and everything. You weren't supposed to wear anything nice to one of these things. And this hazing type thing went on and on and on. In fact, when I was in high school, people that got inducted into girls that got inducted into the flashes, they would do this and take them out and take them to a car where they'd spray mustard onto them and draw weird makeup on them and drive them up and down the main drag and stuff. Then they'd take them to the car wash and hose them all off before they took them home to their parents. My wife went through something like this. So it's not that weird of a thing, but the weird thing that happened to these guys was they tied him up to the tree, and whenever they came back, they were dead. And all their guts had been eaten out. They had some bites and lacerations around their heads, and it looked like their necks were broken or it had whiplash to them. The coroner's report type thing said that they looked like they'd been attacked by wild beast, or perhaps like a pack of wolves or something odd like that. Now, Money Cemetery is trapped inside of a creek, kind of weird, where it goes around it like a horseshoe. And you come into it from one side, and deep in the back left corner of the horseshoe, there's a bridge that goes across the creek, and there's a place over there that's a flattened out area that you would have your little ceremony at, and then they would take the casket over to wherever they were going to inter it at. Now, the old part of this was all full. And I believe that how they got the name of this was that they found this burial ground whenever the people started coming to Texas, and that early pioneers before them had died apparently in this area, and they were buried there. And the only name they could make out, or the one with the largest tombstone type thing, was named Money. And so they named it Money Cemetery. And anyhow, make a long story even longer. There's a lot of folklore that went down to it. Nobody knows if they like buried on top of an ancient Indian burial ground. There's no mounds, but yet Caddo Mills and the mounds and stuff are really not too far away. But this seemed to be left alone. In fact, the Caddo Indians seem to go all around this whole area, but not this area, which is another little strange entity to it. But anyhow, Money Cemetery. Also, I remember in high school, um, right before this having happened, one of our teachers had a picture of going out to Money Cemetery to see one of their grandparents' funeral plots from long ago, and in doing so took pictures of it, and one of the pictures had a blur into it, and they swear it looked like Jesus Christ in the clouds. Of course, you can find elephants in the clouds and everything, but when you looked at this, it really almost looked like a Photoshop or a double negative kind of looking picture. But of course, it was more of a modern camera where you wouldn't get that effect necessarily out of it. It would look kind of odd. Um, anyhow, getting back to the story here. So what was odd is it's kind of a beautiful place during the day, but during the night, I guess it can get pretty scary. And of course, with the old tombstones. Now, we were out right near Halloween time, and somehow with a group of our friends in a big old Pontiac, and one of the guys had mentioned, Halloween tales and ghost tales, and I mentioned and told a ghost tale, and the one that I did ended up with a joke and stuff. Anyhow, I don't want to tell it. It takes 4 or 5 minutes, but in doing so, the guy said, "Hey, man, no joke. You want to go out to Money Cemetery?" And the other guys were like, "Oh yeah, yeah," and everything is like, "Twist one up, we'll go," and stuff. So we cruised out there and stuff, and quite often we'd like light one up when we go out of town, something like that, and then come back in. And there was a main drag through town that we'd always cruise up and down on. It doesn't take too far to come and take one of the main roads out of town to where we were headed, and then go down an F to Market Road, and you go down for a few miles, turn on the road to nowhere, and we run right into the lead into Money Cemetery. And so we went in and we parked kind of like the view that you're seeing like this, although there was less tombstones or something like this. And we were sitting there, we're talking, and guys twisting one up, and we're just yapping away. And next thing you know, you can see something move in between the tombstones, like this far away, but like where I'm pointing now. And you see that little light gap there? Well, that light gap goes away and then comes back. Now, so I kind of pivot in the car back and forth like a bird. So, like, can I make it go away? Is it my differential? And no, it's not at all. And then I see something over here do the same thing. And I go, "Y'all see that?" And they go, "What?" And I go, "Look out there. You see in between the tombstones, and it'll turn dark like there's something out there moving around." And it goes, "Oh, yeah, da, 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 da," And then you see one over here, and it does it. And a couple of us see it, right? So we pull the car up, we get it back up over here, and you're looking now flat on at them, and we don't see anything over there. We don't have a spotlight to shine over there, but you can kind of see the glare, especially those old car headlights, the way they vented out so bad, and you can't really see anything. So he takes it from there and he pulls it down, and we drive through here and we go back out to the back area and down across that little bridge, and you kind of go down and across it, kind of like it was cut into the thing where the bridge was only, I don't know, I guess it was 25, 30 foot off the ground all the way down the bottom, but then went up the other side. Anyhow, and so we parked right there on that bridge. I go, "I think it's a great place to park here by the bridge." And he goes, "Oh, hell, it doesn't matter." So he stopped the car, and we left the radio going, and we're sitting there, and I kind of look back a couple of times, and I can't see a damn thing. You can't see up through the trees, just barely a little bit. I don't hear anything, so we're going along. We're going and smoking everything off of it, and we start talking about other crap and Halloween ghost stories and things like that. And the next thing you know, Cisco says, "Oh man, well, I don't believe in that kind of crap." And right then the car moved. And by me moved, it was like, if you've ever been in a car and a gust of wind hits it and it kind of wobbles, it wobbled. And we were like, "What the hell?" And so we all kind of looked up and looked around, and I kind of looked behind us a little bit, cutting my eyes, and I couldn't see anything at all. And I looked back forward, and we're looking around, and the guy driving the car looks off the rear view mirror, and you can see him make eye contact with me, then look past me, and his eyes get huge. He's put on the brakes now, so they're lighting up in the back, and he's trying to start the car, and he goes like that. When it does, he looks back up again in the rear view mirror, and I can tell he's all of a sudden scared as hell. I look back behind me, and as his brake lights and the car starting and it's going off, you can see something behind the car that, oh, I don't know. To me, it kind of looked like somebody wearing a monkey mask, or, kind of it didn't look like a devil really. Kind of looked like a werewolfy monkey mask kind of thing. I mean, you really couldn't see. It was just kind of, and we started hauling ass. So we haul ass. The problem is now we go up on the other side of the bridge, and we're basically have to stop right there. There's a cul-de-sac, and you can turn around. There's a place for people to park cars, and you can turn around. And there's the more part of the cemetery, which, by the way, they quit burying people here a long time ago and started burying people other places. which was strange when they had this whole other area over here to do it in. But they said it had to do with all of the problems that happened out here, and the caretaker. And there's stories the caretaker got killed, and then the next caretaker got killed, and some kind of weird crap, and the cops never figured it out, and we all thought this was just bullshit. So anyhow, we we have to go back across that bridge. So we turn around the car and we're start to go, and people were scared as hell, and you could hear as we started to go across the bridge, you hear him go 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 go, because he was starting to come across kind of 25 miles an hour, and it was like, dude, don't even go 25, go 50, just screw it, go. And as we come ripping across that bridge, it was just all of a sudden just got silent as hell, and then you heard this noise, and it didn't sound like a howl or a grumble. It just had this, I don't know, it had a weird sound to it. Just kind of you could blame it on the wind. You could. But anyhow, this odd sound. So we come flying out of there. We come around this corner like what you would see in here and around here. And we're literally going 45 and, come short of just taking out a few cemetery posts. We calm it down and come through there and out. Nothing else. I'm looking behind us. I'm looking like crazy. Anyhow, we're wired up all the way back into town. 90 miles a minute. Chain smoking cigarettes like crazy. Freaking out. At first I thought this was something that they had set up or some bullshit. But no, it wasn't at all. Because they were freaked out even worse than me, especially the driver. And he's trying to describe the thing to us and stuff. And I kind of saw it, but I didn't see it. I kind of saw some eye glare and what looked like a person's face. Kinda. Maybe 20 foot behind the car. But if it was 20 foot behind the car, it would be a little bit bigger than a human's face. It would have been bigger than a basketball, but 20 foot back. And you'd barely see it from the brake lights coming off. But anyhow, so we haul ass all the way into town, and we don't stop till we get into town all the way and pull up into the main drag. And there's a few places everybody parks out. One of them's out in front of like a Kmart that used to be there. And we come pull up into that Kmart and stop, get out of the car, and we're just freaking out. And we start telling people that are already standing around and all just hanging out. We start telling people about it. As we're telling them about it, one of the guys walks up and hears us talking about it, and he goes, look, and he points at the back of our car. And there's literally, looks like 2 smears going down the back on the trunk of the car. Right there. That messed with us hard right there, too. And we're like, man, there must be somebody out there. Everybody started talking crap and giggling about it. So there must be somebody out there trying to do this or trying to do that and everything. So 3 or 4 different cars went out there after we did. We weren't going to do that. We were just going to hang out in here and stuff. And you couldn't get Cisco and the other guy to go, and really me. No. Y'all tell me what happened and stuff. I hope I see you at school. But so definitely freaked us out a little bit. And, the whole story there that led up to it and the old theories behind it's just kind of weird. It's they say there's a creature called a Wendigo, and it protects ancient burial grounds, and it's the creature that's kind of half-ass featured in the movie Pet Cemetery. If you ever watch Pet Cemetery, they talk about this creature, and you don't stop and you don't look back and all this type stuff, and they don't play it out as well as they do when you read the book. And anyhow, this place always, I don't really believe in ghosts and spirits and things like that. It really doesn't. But then again, this is something that I experienced myself, and it really happened. And so it makes you wonder sometimes, little things like that. I've often dismissed just about every single thing that I've ever heard or seen about ghosts and spirits and things. But this is one that I can't dismiss as being just, hey, maybe I just saw something. Maybe I saw light through the trees, and we were so freaked out at the moment that I thought I saw a face shape, a couple of leaves hanging in, 20 foot back, may have been farther. It may have been up through the, I tried to come and justify it, and I was kind of like, no. And whenever I look back in your eyes, you sure as hell saw something. And he goes, I saw something. So, he said it leaned down and looked in the back window. He saw it come down and look in the back window, and I was like, what the hell? So, anyhow, just thought I would share that with you. It's one of a few ghost stories and things that I might have to share with you. But enjoy, and happy Halloween.